Thank you for joining us. You were just listening to internationally known singer-songwriter and good friend Jessie Terry's Kaleidoscope. On behalf of the K-Team, as one of our writers lovingly refers to us, welcome to Kaleidoscope WoJo's virtual book launch and book signing. We're so glad to be here. Kaleidoscope WoJo, Reflections on Women's Journeys, announces the first in a series of anthologies, In My Shoes. Today, we're going to flip through the pages of our story, introduce you to our writers, and tell you what's coming up next for Kaleidoscope WoJo. With so many writers, and for the sake of time, much of today's launch has been recorded. This book is dedicated to our moms, grandmothers, aunts, sisters, daughters, granddaughters, nieces, cousins, and dear friends. While we may not universally share the same beliefs on all manners of subjects, we do share the commonality of recognizing our unique journeys as women. We would like to thank the following individuals for their support, encouragement, and review of the story: Sally Sutton, Dave and Faith Stevens, Jim Beam, Ryan Chester, and the original writers of our prototype Familiar Voices. You can read the bios of our co-founders, Deb, Tom, and Marianne, while you hear a bit more about us. 3 people started off to write a business book, relying on decades of experience in corporate positions and as consultants. Instead, we ended up going down another path. Kaleidoscope WoJo, In My Shoes, is the culmination of 3 years of effort at creating a platform to reach women writers and to collect personal memoirs on a variety of topics. Every life is about overcoming obstacles and challenges that crop up unannounced and unexpected. No one escapes life unscathed. Our responses to these events shape the people we become. We have gathered the best of those stories submitted to us that reflect the challenges that life presents and the power of transcendence. In addition to our book, In My Shoes, we also offer webinars, workshops, and retreats to foster the art of storytelling for individuals, work teams, and organizations. Our lives are reflected in the stories we choose to tell, as well as the stories that teams and organizations tell reflect the culture embedded in them. Come, explore the power of women's voices and be inspired. As mentioned in our foreword, our book, In My Shoes, includes a very diverse group of women writers in background, location, education, and writing styles. Today, you'll get an introduction to the writers, and you'll find more of their details on our website. You'll be able to put a face to the name, get to know them by reading their bios, get a glimpse of their story through their excerpt, and hear what they have to say about participating in this project.
And now Kaleidoscope WoJo, Reflections on Women's Journeys, announces In My Shoes writer Jane Kelly Amerson López and her story Surviving Amsterdam. Jane Kelly Amerson López is a third culture kid. As a result of her father's diplomatic career, home was Latin America and Europe until they landed in Washington, D.C. for her teenage years. She is a fierce defender of democracy and a lover of languages and travel. Variety is the spice of her life. And now let's hear an excerpt from Kelly's essay, Surviving Amsterdam. As Ray stepped into the pharmacy, I fainted on the sidewalk, though all I remember is looking up at the kind faces of very tall Dutch men. The ambulance is on its way, one of them said.
And now let's hear a little bit from Kelly. So Kelly, can you tell us a little more about yourself?
Well, sure, and thank you so much. This is such a treat. As you can see from my wall decor a little bit, we live in South Florida, and my husband and I in our rescue lab, Kumba. Like many Floridians, we're not originally from here. We're from New York, and that's where I retired from 2 careers, first as a modern dancer and then as a state government professional in Albany. And when we retired to Florida, where our daughter also lives, I taught water exercise in palm-shaded pools. I also became a member of the Florida Writers Association and the West Boynton Wellington Critique Group, with whose support I started blogging about my experiences and completed a memoir about growing up in the Foreign Service called The Dictator Flew Over Our House and Other True Stories. And I want to acknowledge my editor, Margaret Deal, for her great help with that. And yeah, somewhere in there, I also grew up here and there, and Spanish was my first language. And we are a bilingual household now. So I come by the Lopez through my husband. I was called Jane for 18 years, decided in college I wanted to be Kelly. And now my sister assures me that many women have 4 names, but they don't have to use them all, except I do.
Excellent. So share with us, what was your inspiration for your essay, Surviving Amsterdam?
Primarily in one word, gratitude. I thought that my Foreign Service childhood was the stuff I would write about for the rest of my life. But in May of last year, life threw me an enormous curveball. My husband and I had just finished 2 weeks crossing the Atlantic on a cruise ship headed to Norway. And we were in Amsterdam for a day. My husband had come down with terrible bronchitis, and we were in the search for medications for him. As you just read, he stepped into the pharmacy and I fainted on the sidewalk. 2 ambulances and a hurried exit from the ship later, my heart stopped. But luckily, by that time, I was in an emergency room, and the emergency room was in OLVG hospital. Had this happened, I had an undiagnosed ruptured arterial aneurysm. Had it happened at any other point on our trip, I wouldn't have made it. And had it happened for any other hospital, I might not have made it. But I was in the compassionate and dedicated arms of amazing professionals in this Amsterdam hospital. And it was the beginning of a 3-month stay. Oh my gosh, Anne. Right on cue. My nurse friends on the 7th floor have just joined us.
Wow.
It was the beginning of a 3-month stay in OLVG, where the extremely skilled and amazingly kind medical team saved me from death and taught me how to regain the ability to move my atrophied body. And where my husband and our daughter and my sister, who flew in from America, were supported by the kindness of doctors and nurses and a wonderful Turkish family who saw my husband's despair and took him in as one of their own. We will forever be grateful to all of them. And behind me are a pair of socks. When I was in Amsterdam, I kept telling them, I'm from Palm Beach, where we have palm trees. When I get home, I'm going to send you a thank you gift. So we sent 41 pairs of socks to Amsterdam for their amazing kindness, and will forever be grateful.
Thank you. I don't even know how to follow up on that one. What has it been like for you to participate on this project with Kaleidoscope WoJo?
Well, I think this program is really exemplary of how it is to work with you, where you have welcomed me into this environment that you have created to support women writers. You've helped me find my voice by sharing my experiences, just as you have for the 41 other women, like Barry on the call, whose work appears in your book.
Excellent.
And you've given us a safe place to write about the good, the bad, the joy, the sorrow, the trauma, and the healing. And the Writer's Spotlight, which you ask all of your contributors to complete as an interview, was the first time that I'd been asked in one place, well, what do you read? How do you write? What are the books that influenced you? And it helped me take a big step forward in thinking of myself as a writer. And seeing myself featured on your website was, and still is, a real thrill. So, yes, fantastic.
Is there anything else that you would like to share today, or what's next for you?
Oh boy. Well, a couple of things. The Foreign Service story, my memoir, will be published next year. Stay tuned for who's going to do that, but I'm very confident in that. And the story about surviving Amsterdam will be my next book. There's a lot to say, and I think I am now strong enough to say it, and many people to acknowledge. Just about the time I started getting myself back to myself, the pandemic hit. And it made me so aware that, number one, being strong, as my nurses and doctors and physiotherapists said, being strong when I was hit with this illness saved my life. I would not have made it out of the ICU had I not been Superwoman going in, teaching exercise, etc. And it's really only the habit of exercise that has given me the wherewithal to draw on in getting myself back to full life. My nurse Anna, who is watching this, used to help me sit up in bed because she'd say that I look like a sack of potatoes. She said that very lovingly, and it made me laugh. But I did. So to go from being unable to chew and use my fingers, this morning, don't tell my husband, but I jogged for 2 miles. And the importance of being strong. Something is going to get in your way at some point. And if you have some reserves to draw on, you are going to be much better at getting yourself through this. And boy, haven't we seen this with the pandemic now. Recovery is a slow process. I still feel every day the little inches that I'm moving forward. And every time my feet hit the floor and I stand up, I am grateful all over again.
Wow. Thank you. That was very powerful. You almost have me crying.
Put on your sneakers. That will do.
So the next part is we all get to congratulate Kelly and do a shout out to her. So everybody can turn on their speakers, but basically we want for everybody to just say whatever they want to say to Kelly.
Congratulations, that's so wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's so great to see your face, Mary.
Great to see yours. Great to see you looking so healthy and cheerful and ready for the next thing. It's awesome.
Well, you know, I have a pretty good disposition. Apparently, I sang in the ICU, so the instrument. If you've ever been in an ICU, it's like being in a pinball machine, and the ICU was going bap 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 bap, and I thought it sounded like ba 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 baran, and pretty soon the whole room was singing. So singing and laughing will take you a long way.
Does anybody have any questions for Kelly? Now's your time to ask her anything that you've been wondering about her.
I don't have a question, but Kelly, I just wanted to tell you that your story absolutely mesmerized me.
Oh, thank you.
It really was just written so succinctly, and yet I couldn't put it down what an ordeal you had. I guess my question is, how did you get through all of it? How did you manage it?
Wow. Well, first of all, folks in Amsterdam speak amazing English. Thank you. Thank you. And I know Jukka and others really wanted me to learn a lot more Dutch. I learned some Dutch. But truly, medical excellence and human compassion, that's what got me better. You know, anybody could seal off a leak in an aneurysm, which they did immediately. But taking care of me as my body failed over and over again, taking care of my family as they watched and just held my hand, and then encouraging me as I spent another 6 weeks just learning how to move again, supporting me, everyone from the doctors to the tea ladies who would bring around wonderful snacks every so often. Great support when I got home, great support at Chance Hospital. The book will explore so much more that I've had to continually draw on the support of other people. My husband is amazing. Our daughter is incredible. My sister's terrific. We don't make it alone.
So does anybody else want to say anything to Kelly or ask her any questions?
Yes, we want to say anything, something.
Anna, these are my nurses on the 7th floor. Who is there with you, Anna?
We want to say that we are so proud of you, that you made it this far.
Thank you. Dankjewel. Dankjewel.
Put your socks on today.
You wearing my socks?
No, we forgot.
Well, that's why I hung mine up for everyone to see. The palm tree socks. I'm pretty sure the post office has never asked of a customer, what is in your parcel? Socks. 41 pairs of palm tree socks. I'm so glad they got there. And every time I look at these, I think of you all.
Well, we think of you when we wear them, so.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you. We are blowing you kisses.
Yeah.
Would anyone else like to say anything before we move on?
Hello, Kelly.
Hello, Yasmin.
It's not so good, but I will tell you. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. And your mother and father are well?
Yeah, he's okay. He's okay.
Oh, good. Oh, good. My family and I would not have made it without you. Yasmin and her family just embraced us all.
Thank you very much.
And we can't wait to get back to Amsterdam when the pandemic is over and life goes on, to see your baby and to see all of our friends at OLVG Hospital.
Yeah.
And to enjoy Amsterdam once again.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank you for taking the time to come, Yasmin.
Yeah,
and blow you a kiss.
Yeah, I'm back.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are strong.
Yeah, have to be.
It was a long way in Amsterdam for you.
Yeah.
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 And
Thank God we were there.
You saw me right from the beginning.
yes, Ray and Victoria. Your sister.
Yeah.
Not far.
Well, family and friends made it possible to be here, and we will never forget that.
Yeah,
We all need our community. So our love to you.
And your mother.
And please give our best to your mother and father and
I do.
brother.
Mother.
You have an amazing, amazing family.
Yeah, my brother is now listening now for you, and my mother and father is at home.
They're
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, give that baby a hug from us.
Big hug back.
So we're going to move into the last part. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your comments. If you do have anything else, I noticed some people are chatting too, so you can always put something in the chat section of this as well. Along with, as Kelly mentioned, along with her story, there's 41 other true personal essays in My Shoes. And here are just a couple of the reviews that we've received so far. In My Shoes, sorry, I gotta get this out of the way. There we go. In My Shoes is a rich collection of short stories that wears its heart on its sleeve. It's easy to read at a quick pace, and the readers will relate to specific narratives depending on their life's experiences. Carol Skeldon. There's something for everyone here. My next book club pick. You'll be inspired by these stories and the sheer grit of women. Teresa Kane. I enjoyed reading In My Shoes. It's a remarkable anthology of very personal, poignant, and in some cases, quite universal experiences. The overarching message I take from the assortment of events is that we should never feel alone with our concerns or confusion over life's events. Take heart that this compilation of adventures, ordeals, and incidences will guide and heal, as well as quite often amuse. Viv Fish. So you don't have to be a writer to join the Kaleidoscope family. You can go to our website at www.kaleidoscopewojo.com. If you enjoy reading, you can read. We offer a story on a weekly basis that you can read over your cup of tea of coffee on Saturday called Cup of WoJo. And we highlight our contests, we highlight our winners, we highlight our writers through interviews that Kelly mentioned, as well as some of our blogs and much, much more. So you can sign up for notifications, you can follow us or like us on the various social media. Drawing from years of experience in both corporate positions and as consultants, the team also delivers webinars, workshops, and seminars that further the cause of giving voice to those in individual and group environments. We'd like to thank all of the writers for submitting to us and trusting us with their stories. We thank you, Kelly, for joining us on our journey of this anthology. We thank Ryan Chester, our graphic designer, for all of the Kaleidoscope images and the design and support of the website. And we thank Jesse Terry, international singer-songwriter, for the use of his song Kaleidoscope in our various launches. So now, as a final thank you, and the K team would like to thank all of you for attending. I was trying to figure out time zones so I could say either good evening, good afternoon. But we appreciate everyone joining us. And this is Kelly signing.
Oh, fantastic.
And finally, here's the back of the book. And if you wanted to buy a copy of In My Shoes, you can go to our website at kaleidoscopewojo.com and click on Buy Our Book. So really have a great rest of your day, evening, or morning. And thank you all for joining us. This was awesome.
Big hug for Amsterdam.
Oh, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Anna.
Kelly.
Bye, Yasmin.
Bye, thank you.
Hi, Barry.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye. Good seeing you, Kelly.
Thanks so much. And to Jennifer, who logged in, Sloan.
Oh yeah, we got Al twice.
Oh, good, that's right. Okay. Thanks again, guys.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
this was very enjoyable and a
Thank
very, heartwarming. Thank you.
Well, you've given me the inspiration, energy to go ahead and start the book. So that'll be the next thing.
I can't
Thanks
wait
so
to
much.
read the whole story.
I know, me too.
I can't wait to figure out the whole story. There's quite a bit to it. So it'll take a while. And Barry, are you scheduled yet?
I am for Thursday, the 27th at 8 o'clock. So
PM?
hope you'll come.
Yeah, PM or
Yeah.
AM?
8 p.m.
Okay.
No, never AM, PM, PM.
Well, I thought one of my contacts, Dunja in Australia, might come on this today, but it was 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's not even 5:30 in the morning there yet. So, but the internet is an amazing thing.
Yes, it is.
Thanks again. Thanks so much. And I will stay tuned. I'll keep submitting stuff to you guys and supporting what you do. Let us all know when we're scheduled so that we can attend each other's events. That would be so fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
We will do that.
Great.
All right.
All
Thanks.
right. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.